Coming up on GET,
we test the science knowledge of 4 CHS teachers.
We find out the answers to even more important questions.
And we take a look at the district's new math policy. Did you know that some of your teachers and peers operate businesses on top of school?
Anna, Dorian, and Eva give us an in-depth look at small businesses at CHS.
I do a lot of peg dolls, those wooden figurines, and those are pretty popular, especially around gift giving time. So I'll do a lot of character pieces, and I've done even some family sets.
I really liked crocheting, and some of my friends asked me if I could make stuff for them, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And then people who I wasn't as close with started asking for things, and I'm like, I could probably make a business out of this if I wanted to.
You know, it's a fun, creative outlet for me. After a long day of teaching with you guys, and then I go home and I, put my mom hat on, and then once they go to bed, it's kind of a fun way for me to just kind of de-stress. I'll go downstairs, I'll put some music on, put some Netflix, and just sit and paint or stitch, and it's very cathartic for me. So it's one of my ways that I can kind of wind down at the end of the night.
It's a thing I can do with my hands without really needing to focus. It's fun going on a trip to Michael's or like crocheting with friends. It's become more of a social thing or like a daily thing. It's become part of my routine rather than just like a hobby that I'm doing. I always put school first, but I tend to get my work done quickly, and in class a lot I'll be crocheting because I don't really need to focus on it. It'll be usually personal projects though, in case I do mess up.
It's taken a while to find the balance, and so I try to work on orders when I know my husband is going to be home, because then he can kind of manage the twins. So I try to carve out at least 2 to 3 days a week, and then I can spend the other days working on lesson planning and getting things that I need done for here.
When I got injured in sports or whatever and I couldn't play, it was something that I could do regularly that filled up my free time.
When my back starts to hurt, that I'll just get up, walk around, and change positions.
If I'm on a roll, I'll usually crochet for like 2 hours straight. Usually my hand starts to hurt by then, so I'll take a break.
I love it when I get messages from customers of their kids with the products.
When I finish a project I've been working on for a really long time, like when I finish this shirt, it's like one of the first shirts I ever made, and like making the granny squares in it took forever. But when I finally like put that last stitch in, like to sew it all together, and I could like actually try it on, that was like the best feeling.
Up next, AnMei tests the knowledge of 4 science teachers in a quiz game show,
with the gross punishment for the losers.
Welcome to the Science Game Show, quizzing science teachers on science. So today we are doing a very special challenge in which at the very end we will be making a smoothie with the random ingredients placed in front of you. So there will be 2 teams, so Robbie and Buck, and I have questions all related to the NASA Webb telescope. And if one team gets the question right, then they will get to decide which ingredient goes into the smoothie. If both teams get it wrong, then I'll decide. And then the losing team has to drink the smoothie. All right, making sense?
Here we go.
Okay, so our first question. How big is Webb's sunshield? A, a tennis court. B, a pickleball court. C, a basketball court. Or D, a tennis table. You have time to talk with your...
We're going to say it's a pickleball court.
Pickleball court?
We're going to say tennis court.
Tennis court.
Oh, you did.
Okay, so you guys can pick one ingredient.
I know Miss Falkoff loves cheese, so
Mozzarella?
we'll start
Okay.
with the mozzarella.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Wonderful.
All right, moving to
Great.
question number 2. How expensive was Webb? A, 500 million. B, 100 billion. C, 300 billion. Or D, $1 trillion.
We're going 500 million.
500 million, okay.
500 million?
Both teams are going for 500 million. Both teams are wrong.
Oh.
Okay, the The proposed budget was 500 million, but it ended up being 100 billion.
Oh wow.
So, yes.
A little bit over budget.
Whoa!
Just
Worth
a little
every
bit.
So
penny.
I want to decide what goes in the smoothie. Let's do some almonds.
Yum.
How many more times powerful is Webb than Hubble? A, 10 times. B, 25 times. C, 50 times. D, 100 times.
We'll say 100.
No, we're gonna say 102.
That is correct. It is both 100. Okay, so that means nothing goes in the smoothie. I forgot to say that at the beginning. We're down to the last two questions. Okay, NASA claims that Webb is so powerful it can detect the heat of what as far away as the moon? A, a Totino's pizza roll. B, a child with a fever. C, a match. D, a bumblebee.
We're gonna say bumblebee.
Oh, we're gonna say Bumblebee too, but let's go match.
The answer is bumblebee.
Yes.
It's alright.
Okay.
Okay, now how does it work on who gets to drink it?
Whoever loses at the end.
We're
Gonna
tied
come down to
now.
this
We're tied now.
We're tied
We're
now.
tied now. I think the honey mustard.
Honey mustard,
You really
okay.
want to drink that, huh?
That's gross.
No, I think it goes well with the cheese and nuts.
Okay, this is the final question. What is James Webb's star sign? A, Cancer. B, Libra. C, Gemini. D, Scorpio.
These were science questions.
That's not a science
This
question.
one's not a science question.
This is a good toss-up one, though.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We're gonna go Gemini.
All right.
The logic in it. We're going with Libra.
The answer is Libra.
Come on.
Nice.
And you would know because Libras are known to be peace lovers, people pleasers, and stargazers.
I'm a Libra. That's why we chose it. That's the
All right.
math you did.
Okay, that
So
must
what's
be
the
it.
final ingredient?
Wow. Now this is really good.
I might recommend going for milk or orange juice because I think we need some more liquid in the.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think definitely. I'll shake it for you. You shake it for you.
Do I get to put the cheese in since
Yeah.
Cal Pop
Balloon.
loves cheese, right?
Oh, just going for it. Okay.
You want all three or just one?
Oh, throw all three.
All three.
Just light on light on the
Keto.
OJ. It's not cute.
Like
This looks really
Bonner.
good. Still put them on
I bet you it's not too bad.
That's awful.
What do you think?
I love it.
Thoughts?
Yeah, that's not good.
It's really not good. It's exactly what you would think it would taste.
What do you say the strongest flavor?
Almonds are coming through.
Look at
They're
his
not really
face.
chopped up all that well.
Tangy with the orange juice.
That's all we have planned. Thank you guys for being good sports. Congratulations.
By now, you probably all have heard that CHS is moving to mass optional.
But let's dive a little deeper into why the district made this decision.
As the pandemic happened and we started with all of our mitigation plans and we made sure that, we have all the procedures outlined and everyone's following them, we wanted to eventually get to a point where we can start relaxing some of our mitigation plan.
We looked at our vaccination rates. So at the high school, we're right about like an 89%. Middle school is high as well. And our elementary that have only been able to get vaccinated for like the last 6 months, they're actually like in the high 70s as well.
But now when we look at the COVID transmission rate in the community and really in our district, right now as of today, we have one student that's positive. We have no one in quarantine, and think about all of our students, and we have no teachers that's positive or any teachers that are in quarantine. So when we look at data like that, we're able to say, okay, now can we safely transition and start peeling back some of those preventative measures we had in place.
When we went back a year and a half ago, our hospitals were filling with patients, and they were folks who were in many cases healthy, young people who didn't have other kinds of conditions and things. Now the hospitalizations are much lower, and I think that the environment is different in which folks have access to vaccines, 3 doses of vaccines in many cases. And so I think that this is a good time for us to kind of get back toward a little bit of sense of normal.
by us doing this a week after spring break, right? We have been able to watch what other school districts and the impact it's had on them.
For example, Ladue has been mask optional for the last 4 weeks. And I talked to their nurse coordinator yesterday, and they currently have 6 cases.
But one of the things that we have learned through this pandemic is how to continue to, pivot and change as needed. So one of the things we're gonna put in place is that a threshold. So each building would have a 1.5% threshold. So the minute a building goes above that threshold, we would put our masks back on for 2 weeks.
They are predicting that we could be seeing a new variant by August of next year. So could we very possibly be back in mask? We could. We'll just have to watch what's going on. Currently, we don't know.
I think that we need to be responsive. If there's another variant that emerges, we need to be prepared to move back to masks. That's a part of being resilient, but I definitely think it's a step in the right direction.
I'm a big advocate for kids learning in the best manner possible. I think masks are a barrier. They're a barrier between the teacher. There are 2 barriers between the teacher and the student. And I think right now with lost learning throughout the pandemic, which is no secret that kids have fallen behind in many areas of math and in reading, that eliminating masks would help them to get back to where they should be.
I do feel that some of the students and some of the adults, not only just in our district, but in the world in general, it did have an impact on social emotional well-being. I think we missed that human connection piece.
Throughout the pandemic, and the reason why this is so important to me is because what I've seen the changes in kids in this office, far and away the rates of depression, social anxiety, and suicidal ideation have increased tremendously.
I think that there is a great amount of fear among community members and students in the shift to mask recommended. I think that one of the consequences is how do we navigate that fear?
Like what we have been doing throughout the pandemic is when there's someone with a concern or a group of individuals with concerns, we try to listen, we try to problem solve, through that. And really when it's gonna come down to, when it comes to masking, it's gonna be very individualized and personalized. The main thing is to be respectful of whoever you're interacting with, whatever that individual's comfort level is, and not making them feel uncomfortable.
Up next, Dilia finds all the answers to the pressing questions.
In the second episode of Dilia on the Street.
Hey CHS, I'm back on the street with more pop culture questions. Let's go. Miss, Team Cassie or Maddie?
Maddie.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Why Maddie?
Because she's better than Cassie.
Yes.
How did you spend National Women's Day?
Celebrating, of course.
By doing what?
I was honoring the Queen of England.
That's so great, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, are there more wheels or doors in the world? Come on.
There's more wheels.
Are you sure?
Because motorcycles don't have doors.
What about like apartments? Like there's so many apartments.
My wheels are trying.
Name 3 women.
3 women. Me.
Come on.
Come on.
3. You got 1. Come on. Come on. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
She ran away. Thoughts on Lexi's play?
I've not seen it.
From Euphoria? You've not seen Euphoria?
Oh, I have. Okay, who?
Why don't you know what Lexi's play is?
Oh, it's the very end.
What's your favorite Wordle?
Favorite Wordle?
Yeah.
Probably the Wordle.
What?
The Wordle?
What? No, Wordle word.
Oh, the
like
Wordle
your
word.
favorite word.
I thought you meant I don't know.
Come on.
Cynic?
Oh. Excuse me, sir. Who's your favorite Batman?
I don't know.
What? There are multiple. Come on, you couldn't name one? Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think there are more wheels or doors in the world?
Well, I was thinking about it last night.
Yeah.
And I think doors.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Because there's 4 doors.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you. Rue or Jules and Elliot or Elliot and Rue? Excuse me, miss.
Yeah.
Name 3 white women.
Me, Addie.
Who's Addie?
Molly, my friends.
Okay, your friends.
Yeah.
Just your friends. Can it be famous people, please?
Oh, Selena Gomez.
Okay.
Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Demi
And-
Lovato.
Okay, thank you. Sir, what are your thoughts on the Crocs trend?
Do
you like them?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me, sir. Would you consider yourself to be Ye's muse?
Yeah, I'd say so.
What is a muse?
Well, you know, it's like how I was like Sam Levinson's muse when he wrote Euphoria, stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me, sir. What's something you're scared of?
Spiders.
Really?
Not really, but I think
This has been GET,
a production of the Greyhound News Network.
Happy Friday,
and have a great spring break, CHS!
Take the last train to Clarksville and I'll meet you at the station. You can be here by 4:30, cause I've made your reservation. Don't be slow. No, no, no. No, no, no. Cause I'm leaving in the morning and I must see you again. We'll have one more night together till the morning brings my train and I must go. No, no, no. No, no, no.